So welcome to the personal statement video analysis. I would suggest that you read the whole personal statement first, which I will provide in the link in the description below. Once you're done, then you can come back to the video and then we're gonna analyze it together. Okay, so I'm just gonna jump in straight up to the comment and the feedback for the first paragraph. For the first paragraph, what we say about the fundamental principles is the hook, right? I like the hook. The story is personal, and the claim that she wants to become a doctor is pretty justified. Also, the wording is very simple, it's easy to digest, and it's really meaningful. However, the main issue is that she used a story that described her calling for medicine, but this personal statement is to apply for specialty, which in this case, internal medicines. Therefore, it's not appropriate. I will attach a link down in the description below. There is an article about career in medicine in AAMC, and this is one of the don'ts because again the personal statement here is to apply for specialty and not about getting into medical school. So she can still use the story, but she can probably try to highlight it with a little bit different perspective, so it would be her calling to internal medicine instead of just medicine, but she will need some creativity to do that. Now, another feedback about this paragraph is that she can improve the storytelling by providing a dialogue, right? Dialogue brings the story to life, and she can try to describe the situations and events in more detail. For example, she should try to think deeper. What the doctors did that make her feel that her grandmother received a compassionate care? Was it the conversation, or maybe there's some nonverbal gestures that the doctors did in the airplane? What did she see? What did she observe? So she can try to think deeper, get a little bit more insight about this, and the story will come even more alive. And the readers will connect way, way better. All right, let's move on to the second paragraph. It's going to be right here, I believe. She should put some space from here to here. I think this is the next paragraph. So this is the second paragraph. So in the second paragraph, she tries to connect cooking, like her hobby, with internal medicine, but I personally don't see the connection. I'm not saying it's wrong. I just think that the description is too superficial. So one perspective that I can think of when I read this personal statement, that she might choose to use this, or it probably would be better if she can think deeply and get more insight herself of how cooking can be similar to internal medicine. But here goes. So same dish can give different flavors. Same disease can have different treatment. I think that can connect better if you want to try to connect cooking with internal medicine and try to describe that, and that's why you like internal medicine. It works, actually. It will work. Now, the next sentence actually is over here, right? There's a lot of empty words. I would say this is a description is too generic and it's too superficial. I have read a lot of personal statement by now, and I would say maybe about 70% describe how they like internal medicine the way she described it over here. So you if you want to stand out, you want to avoid this. My suggestion is to change this by simply go deeper. Okay. So for example, she said, the thing about internal medicine that draws me in the most, the breadth of experience and exposures that it offers. But what she meant by experience, what she meant by exposures, what kind of exposures, right? And then moving on, she mentioned the variety in the working day and opportunity to apply significant diagnostic and bedside skills that I have developed in my rotations to date. What kind of diagnostic skills, what kind of bedside skills, he didn't mention that. And then she mentioned about the complexities involved in determining optimal treatment plans with necessary titration throughout the patient's course never ceases to intrigue me. Again, there is no examples here about what kind of diagnosis, what kind of optimal treatment, what kind of titrations. So, of course, we won't be able to describe everything here. You will run out of space, you will run out of words. So, I would just choose one or two that is the most meaningful that draws this applicant to internal medicine provide clear examples, and I think that would connect way better rather than try to describe so many things without any examples that will become some empty words. Right? Now, the next paragraph around here and over here. Maybe stop right there. So she described about the clinical vignette about hypoglycemia. Now, the thing is, I think this clinical vignette is inappropriate for internal medicine. It would fit better for emergency medicine because the nuance of internal medicine is the accuracy of diagnosis and treatment rather than the quick intervention that saves lives. If you want to make it more internal medicine, you would probably highlight why the patient has hypoglycemia. Is it insulinoma? Is it inappropriate insulin dose? Maybe because she has comorbidities like CKD or hepatic failure or maybe adrenal insufficiency. The internal medicine is more about that accuracy, knowing why something actually happened. So this clinical vignette description is just not appropriate for a reason why you want to go for internal medicine. Then comes this sentence. The variety of clinical encounters, procedures, and degrees of illness makes internal medicine extremely appealing to me. Each patient interaction teaches me something new, and the continuous learning process shapes my approach to patient care, making me a more thoughtful and effective physician. See, she tries to give more words. This is again a problem with show and tell. You just saying the words. I'm a team player, I'm a hard worker, I'm a compassionate person. There is no difference then here. I am a thoughtful, I'm an effective physician, but there is no examples backing up her claims. Now, another thing about this paragraph, I would say this whole paragraph, if this is not the same paragraph, or is it the same paragraph? I'm not even sure. But if this is the same paragraph, then the flow of ideas is like this. I like internal medicine. Clinical vignette, which the clinical vignette is inappropriate, and then I say, I love medicine. Right. So the ideas does not flow nicely. So that's another thing about that whole paragraph, if that paragraph is actually just one paragraph. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Now, it seems in this paragraph, she tries to communicate the idea that she has high respect to a patient's life. Okay. But I feel that this is too superficial. The story is, I saw a code, patient died, moment of silence, thus I respect life. She needs to try to be more insightful, reflect what is it about life that makes it so precious, and highlight that in this paragraph. So she just needs to sit down and think why life is so precious, and she should have her own unique views, a personal opinion about lives, and once she found it, she would describe it and highlight it in this paragraph. Okay? If that is the idea that she tries to communicate, because she tries to communicate that she respects a patient's life. Now, I would also put more words on about the values, right, about respecting life in the paragraph, rather than describing the sequence of events, because we are familiar with the code events. So descriptions of losing pulses, chest compressions, ROS, ICU transfer is just not interesting to us who are experienced physicians. Now, it would be different if it's a sequence of events about your grandmother, like in the first paragraph right here. You need to be more descriptive because that's your personal story. That's unique. But a code, and you describe the code, it's not unique. And you just wasted your words. Now, let's move on to the next paragraph. Now, I would say this would be the best paragraph, right? And the reason is because she described her motivation, right? The interest in education and community outreach. And therefore, right, she joined these multiple health community services, right? And then next, she described what she learned from this, and what she learned leaning more toward the human type of values. I call it human type of values, so rather than just competence or intellect type of values. Competent intellect types of values would be Oh, I aware that medicine is so complex, it requires you to pay attention to details. Now those are like competence, right? But here this is more of human type of values, which I really like, which is very important for personal statement, because you try to give something the other side of you, something's outside of your CV, your score. And then she described her future aspirations, what she want to do in the future. So she could also communicate the idea with clear, simple sentences. The idea flows and comes together nicely. Right? Start with motivation, what I did, what I learned, and this is the future for me. Okay. So this is a great paragraph. Then we come to the last paragraph. So I highly recommend to tie the last paragraph with the first one, and she would need a punchline to end a personal statement, which basically I don't find that here. Now, although her way to end the personal statement is not completely wrong, the main issue about this closure is the attempt to specify why your program. But she put very generic sentences that would apply to any program, and I think this can really hurt the applicant. Especially hurts more because she did it at the end, where most people will remember the first, like the first paragraph and the end paragraph, like the closure paragraph. That's just how the human brain works. Now, in general, most mentors probably agree to have two types of personal statement if you can do it. One for community program and the other one for academic program. You'll describe a little bit more on the teaching, on research. For community program, you describe more on your willingness to work in the community, probably underserved community. So if you choose to make two types of personal statement, you can go for it. I personally did not make two personal statement. I only make one personal statement that would apply to whatever. Okay. So, overall comments about this personal statement. The strong points of this personal statement is that she has the skill to communicate an idea clearly with simple English. It's so easy to understand. I can actually feel the values and the things that she tried to communicate, but a lot of the descriptions are too superficial, and she would need more examples, and she needs to be more insightful. I always say that the more insightful a person is, the better the personal statement going to be. Lastly, it seems to me that this personal statement lack a main theme or idea that she tries to communicate. Yes, it's true you want to include all the checklists, why the US, why internal medicine, your future plans, and why this program. But the key is to answer all these questions while at the same time unpack or expand the main theme or main idea. And if you have that, the closure will also become stronger because you can close it, tie it all together with this main theme. All right. So that's all for this video. I'll see you again in the next video for another personal statement video analysis.